This is the X-Fan Show. For the fans, by the fans.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12!
Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can ride with A-Train, dropping the facts you know. Latest in sports and entertainment. Word up, we running the pavement. Get your pens ready, got the hot takes that'll make the headlines sweaty. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can take a ride with the A-Train. Talking the latest in sports and entertainment. Yeah, it's the A-Train. Peace. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can ride with A-Train, dropping the facts you know. Latest in sports and entertainment. Word up, we running the pavement. Get your pens ready, got the hot takes that'll make the headlines sweaty. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can take a ride with the A-Train. Talking the latest in sports and entertainment. Yeah, it's the A-Train. Peace. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can ride with A-Train, dropping the facts you know. Latest in sports and entertainment. Word up, we running the pavement. Get your pens ready, got the hot takes that'll make the headlines sweaty. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can take a ride with the A-Train. Talking the latest in sports and entertainment. Yeah, it's the A-Train. Peace. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can ride with A-Train, dropping the facts you know. Latest in sports and entertainment. Word up, we running the pavement. Get your pens ready, got the hot takes that'll make the headlines sweaty. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can take a ride with the A-Train. Talking the latest in sports and entertainment. Yeah, it's the A-Train. Peace. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can ride with A-Train, dropping the facts you know. Latest in sports and entertainment. Word up, we running the pavement. Get your pens ready, got the hot takes that'll make the headlines sweaty. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can take a ride with the A-Train. Talking the latest in sports and entertainment. Yeah, it's the A-Train. Peace. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can ride with A-Train, dropping the facts you know. Latest in sports and entertainment. Word up, we running the pavement. Get your pens ready, got the hot takes that'll make the headlines sweaty. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can take a ride with the A-Train. Talking the latest in sports and entertainment. Yeah, it's the A-Train. Peace. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can ride with A-Train, dropping the facts you know. Latest in sports and entertainment. Word up, we running the pavement. Get your pens ready, got the hot takes that'll make the headlines sweaty. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can take a ride with the A-Train. Talking the latest in sports and entertainment. Yeah, it's the A-Train. Peace. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can ride with A-Train, dropping the facts you know. Latest in sports and entertainment. Word up, we running the pavement. Get your pens ready, got the hot takes that'll make the headlines sweaty. Welcome to the A-Train Show, the show where you can take a ride with the A-Train. Talking talking the latest in sports and entertainment. Yeah, it's the A Train. Peace. Welcome to the A Train Show. The show where you can ride with A Train, dropping the facts you know. Latest in sports and entertainment. Word up, we running the pavement. Get your pens ready, got the hot takes that'll make the headlines sweaty. Welcome to the A Train Show. The show where you can take a ride with the A Train. Talking the latest in sports and entertainment. Yeah, it's the A Train. Peace. Welcome to the
Oh my goodness. Welcome to this edition of the A Train Show, the A Train Arlington Lane. My God, I couldn't get the camera wasn't working, so but I'm here. It's Tuesday. As you can hear the music, chaos is all across the mix here, man. This is ridiculous, but that's okay. We here 7 minutes in. It happens. We get late. That it be like that sometimes, man. But back in the fold, Mania is over, and I brought some friends with me to touch on the subject. Before I get into them, 2 bits of sports news I want to throw out. Of course, we've had the NBA playoffs in the mix here. I'm just going to get this out the way. Of course, first 2 games, Cavaliers have now taken in the best of 7 against Toronto. And we got a couple of splits with the Timberwolves and Nuggets, and also the Knicks and the Hawks. Surprisingly, the Detroit Pistons dropped the game in the first game against Orlando. So that was a surprise. Also, a bit of news that came across was Joe Buck, broadcaster, big-time broadcaster, MLB, NFL, is going to be taking the job as host of ESPN's Jeopardy. So quite interesting for Joe now getting into the game show hosting role. He actually did some of that during COVID, where he got a chance to host a week of Jeopardy episodes. And so now it looks like he's going to be taking that opportunity. And my biggest news for me, boy, I was happy I could have shouted. Billy Donovan is gone, ladies and gentlemen. He out of Chicago. Hey! Hey! Get him out of there. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. I've been time for him to leave and whatnot. I've been wanting him to leave for quite some time. But he gone. All right. So let me bring in my panel, ladies and gentlemen, into the mix. We're going to get into it. This thing we call WrestleMania.
Let's talk about it.
Thank you, Trick Willie. Let's talk about it. And Doc is on his way, so we're going to get him in just a moment. But you know, I had to bring my nephew back into the fold. Big J Malone himself. What's up, big dog? What's up, man?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
All right. And then you know I got to bring one of my biggest wrestling fans around. He back with us again for this edition of the A Train Show, the one and only from Greer Consulting, Jason Greer. What's good? Oh yeah, we learned this one.
Brock Lesnar took us backstage to let us know it's real. It's real.
They let us know that day.
My brother.
Good afternoon to you both. I know Doc is probably sick. He's like, and I know what he's doing. Same thing I was trying to do when I was getting on this show right now is trying to get on board. So let's talk about it. Mania 1 and Night 2 was what it was. 1 was, of course, not as great as Night 2. Night 2
One was
had
garbage.
So I gotta ask, overall, if you could give a number between 0 and 10 on Mania as a whole, what would you give it? Jared, I gotta ask you first. What's that? What number is that for you?
I say a 6.8.
A 6.8. That is a D plus for those that do not understand. Okay. Almost a C. Almost a C minus. Why are you giving it that?
Listen, I feel like this. This WrestleMania to me was better than last year, in my personal opinion. But this is the first WrestleMania ever that I ever seen where half the show is an ad. I'm like, where's the rest at WrestleMania? Why are we seeing ads? We even had no promo packages leading up to the matches. We had ads. That's all we had was ads. Commercial break ads. Commercial break ads. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that all? Is that all you got to say about it? Like what stood out? What didn't stand out to you?
Then ads made me mad. It's the ad era now. Like what is going on? Okay, I'm done. That's
You done? Okay. All right. Mr. Greer, what was your thoughts on that?
I got to split this into 2 different WrestleManias. There was WrestleMania Night 1, gets a 2 out of 10. It was garbage.
Okay.
Terrible. WrestleMania Night 2, 9.5.
Wow.
And the only reason why I'm not giving it a 10 is because there's too many damn ads. That's it.
You on the same wavelength as him. All right.
Whoa.
I gotta bring in my buddy came into the mix, and I know he's been wanting to talk about this for quite some time. And I've been wanting to get his thoughts on it too. He's the host of the Derek King Show, which you can see on Gateway Sports, and we are kindly enough to be a part of with this group of what we got with the A-Train Show, the X-Fan Show, and stuff. So I want to bring him on. Derek King, he got his belt ready. He got what's up, sir? He got the big gold too.
That's right. That's right. The champ is here.
Respect.
And I got it. Well, I didn't even bring the 10 pounds of gold out.
That's too. So, that's too much.
That's too much. I had to show the love for WCW.
Yes, sir.
And the original NWA.
Yes, sir.
World's Heavyweight Championship. But yeah,
Woo!
How's it going? Woo! What did I just hear? I don't know, because I'm too old and I'm too decrepit and I can't see and I can't hear and nothing works.
Oh, you can't hear us at all?
No, I could hear. Okay. I'm old. You get up there into your 40s and your 50s and everything. It's all downhill from there. It's just,
just don't do that to me, man. No,
I'm just warning you. I'm just letting you know. So how are you boys? How's everything going?
Man, everything is good. Everything is good here, and we just talking some WrestleMania as always, man. We watched the drama unfold. I definitely did. I couldn't wait to see it, and I definitely want to get your thoughts on it, Derek.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree with both Jared and Jason on this one. The ads were absolutely uncalled for.
Mm-hmm.
What do we pay for these streaming services for? Right?
I said the exact same thing.
What are we paying for? What it has done is I remember when all of this started to kind of coalesce, the late 2010s into 2020s, and the whole streaming takeoff and everything that happened. I remember telling everybody, be careful what you wish for, because you're going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And people, oh no, we're never going to have ads. What do you think cable was prior to satellite? What do you think satellite was for 20 some odd years? We still paid obscene amounts of money for services that we still had to watch advertisements for.
Yep.
So what do you think that anything else is going to change? And if you think for a hot second that they're not going to raise those rates on you, you got another thing coming, Jack, because they do and they have.
Right.
And so now we're in the Netflix era. Now we're in this kind of, oh, hey, get the Disney Plus bundle. You'll get ESPN. You'll get all this other stuff. But by the way, you're limited to what you can watch.
Yeah.
But if you want to watch the premiere stuff, then you've got to buy another subscription to another platform. But I digress. We could talk about the evils of capitalism and everything else on another political podcast. This is about wrestling. This is about WrestleMania. And I frankly want to talk about the match of the night that nobody's talking about. And that, frankly, is Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. I don't know what all the rest of you are watching.
Bro. I have so much to say about that.
Bro, you finna go. Oh, look. You finna do that. I already know. Before you do that, let me go ahead and bring in Doc because he's been waiting on this too. I
got something to say to Doc. I got something to say to Pastor.
Let's go.
You know I got something to say to Pastor.
Let me in!
Pastor?
Let me in, people!
Pastor?
I am here!
Pastor.
Yes!
A-Train, give me 1 minute before we go anywhere. Pastor Dr. Robert Bailey Jr.
Jason Greer, how are you, sir? Derek King, good to see you, man.
Listen,
Hey,
I was on the show last week. Pastor Bailey, I was on the show last week, and you convinced me not to go to WrestleMania. I sold my ticket, and night one happened, and I was like, you know what? Pastor is prophetic. Night two happened. Oba came out, and I was like, it's okay. I still get to see him on my screen. No big deal. And then the unthinkable, the unfathomable, the unbelievable happened. Brock Lesnar retired.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill hold on, we ain't done. Jade Cargill put on a masterclass, clearly showing she's been learning the lessons. Penta and crew did something we ain't seen in a long time. They had a great quality match. And then one of the best WrestleMania main events I've ever seen in my life. And I'm saying I go back to the days of Rock v. Austin.
Yeah.
And I could have been there. So Pastor Bailey, you are cursed.
So let me defend myself, sir. I said to you that it would not be of any. We talked about how bad these the buildup of these matches have been, and I think Arlington was like, "Yo, I only said that it's going to be on regular ESPN." That's what I said. And so you was mad because you like regular ESPN. Like, why would it be on ESPN2 when I done paid my ticket? And then Arlington was like, but let me defend you and tell you you might want to go. And I'm like, but it's still going to be on ESPN. So I think that's kind of where the, choice.
I listened to my pastor.
Well, I apologize for leading you the wrong way, sir. Listen. Let me be clear.
And you would listen to me.
I'm so sorry, Trey. I'm sorry.
The whole point of it was really a great. That first night just gave us no hope at all. But man, that second night is always. Have you ever noticed that literally the second night for the past few years have been spot on, spectacular? Like, what is going on with the first night? That the first night is always trash, and then we get this major blow up on, and then we definitely got to talk about Raw. So I'm gonna yield to y'all. But what do we need to do to kind of make sure there's a balance of the two? I'm going to Derek because Derek had something about this Jade and Rhea match that he.
Oh yeah, I'm with it too. I'm with it.
Yeah.
I want to hear about that, but from him because I got some stuff I want to say about that.
All right. So obviously, the point that I want to make about that match in particular, how often do we as viewers and enjoyers of the business get the opportunity to be able to watch two elite female wrestlers in their primes that are at the top of their game be able to compete in a match night 2 of the biggest event in wrestling? How often do we get to do that? I can count once, twice, maybe.
Not
We've
a
been
lot.
able to do that and
Not
be
a
able to actually sit and enjoy the match in itself. Jason said it. He was there for Austin Rock. He was there for Rock Hogan. He was there for those great, big, huge. Obviously, the two matches with Michaels and Undertaker, classics. Probably one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time in Taker Michaels. That being said, with this woman's match between Cargill and, you know, my favorite, my girl, Mommy.
Rhea, Mommy, right? He loves Mommy.
Here's the deal. That was a barn burner. I loved it. It was fantastic. It had entertaining factors of it, but what really impressed me was Jade being able to showcase her growth of what she's been able to learn by being away from AEW and away from the Mark hacks that are over there, trying to get her to buy into all of this BS of how the business actually is, when it's all about those 4 posts and what's between those ropes. That's the story that you tell. And I am thoroughly impressed. I'm extraordinarily happy with the way that match turned out. I don't think it could have turned out much better. And that's my opinion. Take it or leave it.
Sweet, because I looked at that and it was like an evolution of sorts with her. And even though she didn't come out as the winner, she came out. She
came out strong. She came out looking strong. And that's the biggest thing, even in a loss.
Right.
Even in a loss, when you can come out looking like $1 million, like she did. Trust me, she already looks like $1 million anyways. She doesn't need any help. But the fact of the matter is, she can come out of a losing situation on night 2 of the show of all shows and still, like, I look at her and go, yep, she's right there. She's still at the top. She didn't fall back down to the bottom. That's excellence. That shows her growth. That shows where she's headed from here.
Yes.
She is legitimately the modern day Lex Luger. Because if you remember Lex Luger, when he first started out, he was a body. He had no talent in the ring. By the time Lex Luger, Derek talks about WCW. By the time Lex Luger got in his zone, Lex Luger was putting on some good matches. And when he was in with superior talent, they carried him to some wonderful moments. The beautiful thing about Jade, that crowd was anti-Jade in the beginning, and she turned people as the match went on.
That's great.
Exactly. And I think that's what the drawback is from that, is that she's been main event, but now she's truly main event worthy. Like, if we have her close out shows, it won't be a problem. And that is the thing that we have been talking about, is can she handle a match? And she was able to. And so, I was in awe of seeing what she was able to do in that period with Rhea. And a lot of times, you know how most of these matches, it slowly builds. You know, they were slow, and then as the match progressed, it just got better and better and better and better and better. And so that's what was impressive with that. And that's by far Jade Cargill's best match in WWE.
Oh yeah,
I can't
hands
sit
down.
there and say that. Right.
Hands
That's her
down.
best match.
Yeah.
WWE.
Hands down.
And what she's had 3 Mania matches already.
Yeah.
So they already see the money from it. That's why she's in that spot, you know. And so that was great to see. This thing with Oba Femi, I listen. I have to use what on Raw what he did for Sunday when he came out. He got that big pop and said, "The ruler is here," and dropped the mic. I said, "That's all you need to say, brother."
That was it.
You didn't need to say
That was
nothing
it.
else. You didn't need to say anything else. And
Simple
people said
and
that,
sweet.
I seen it on the
Straight to
internet.
the
They
point.
said, "Well, this is like what happened with Roman, and this is
No,
setting
it's
up
not.
for Roman Oba." No, sir. Listen to me very carefully. This had everything because we were force fed by Roman Reigns in 2018, 2019, 2017, wherever you want to go with that. Oba was always, it wasn't generic, it was already organic. It was organic. And because it was organic, him saying that was greater than whatever Roman ever pushed. And then when Roman got on the mic at the post show and sitting there talking crazy about Oba, it's almost like he didn't even know what to say in that moment because Oba's aura was that big. And these fans were sitting there in the back talking about some Oba's gonna kill you. Oba's gonna kill you. And we were sitting there, I'm listening to this. I'm like, that's an aura.
Because you believe it now. You believe it now. You believe Oba can kill him.
Yes.
Right?
You know what this
Well,
reminds me of? This whole thing is almost step for step. It's almost identical to when Lesnar came in against Rock, SummerSlam, and they just booed Rock out of the building. Because, again, the smart fans, not the marks, smart fans were smart to the fact that he was going to leave and he was going to go to Hollywood. He was going to do some movies. They knew that, and they got behind Brock, and they cheered Brock, and they pushed Brock, and Brock got over like Rover. And I think this is eerily similar to what's going on, but they've been smart about taking their time with Oba. And everybody that I've talked to, all of my friends, everybody that's been associated with me watching the business and what's going on, we're man, this Oba guy, and this has been months prior through NXT, through everything going. He's got it. He's got it. He's got it. It's the it factor. There's something there that's unquantifiable that the fan, and I'm not just talking about, like I said, the smart fans or the marks, but the generalized fan can associate themselves with and go, that's my guy. That's the guy I want to get behind. That's the guy I want to back. Now, is he Austin level? I don't know if anybody's ever going to be Austin level again from 1999. But the fact of the matter is, he's up there. He's right there now. And I think that if you play this smart, and I'm not talking about Hunter. We all know Hunter's, well, I should say Paul, Mr. Levesque, sorry. But the fact of the matter is that he's not running anything anymore. TKO is running it. They've got people that are running everything. So if they do it smart, then they're going to be okay. But if they go corporate like they always do, like multi-billion-dollar companies do, they're going to screw it up. My hope is they don't.
Jared, you've been following Oba since he started.
Yes.
Level up and stuff like that. What is your thoughts right now as you seeing the progress of Oba and you see how all the fans get in? You yourself being an NXT fan than the rest of us here. What is your big thoughts on Oba? And
I've been a part of that too.
I know, but I'm looking at it from a perspective of those, with that crowd, with the 18 to 35, that crowd. And I want to hear from him on how he's thinking about Oba and his future.
Well, what I've seen by this WrestleMania on night 2 to be exact is that it's proof that Shawn Michaels knows what he's doing to teach his students. So the fact that I've been watching Oba since he started, and at first Oba was a little rocky on Let's Level Up, and then what made him a bona fide superstar is his match with Dragon Lee, and when he destroyed Dragon Lee, I said, "Oh yeah, this guy is something." And then they kept building Oba up to a point where he becomes this monster. But the thing I like about like Shawn Michaels, that he just don't do one person. He just one person at a time. He does everybody. That's why we seen Trick Williams. Congratulations, thank God for beating Sammy Hogan. We see Javon have a spectacle at WrestleMania. Even though he didn't win, I'm so glad that he got the eyes on him to know that he a long time he's going to do great at it. And let's talk about the women. In fact, since I'll bring you to another topic. Stephanie Valkyrie. Amen. That's all I gotta say. Amen. Stephanie Valkyrie. One of the. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good, man. This is your ship, dude. I understand, brother. I understand. Listen.
Woo! That night one made me mad. The night one made me mad. First of all, it could have been great if they would have gave time to these matches. You seen what they did with Drew and Jacob, and they had a phenomenal match. You seen what they did with Gunther.
Yeah.
Had a great match too, but they should have had more time because it's Seth and Gunther. That's like a 20-25 minute match easy. But if they would have gave Stephanie and Liv match, I think our answer would have been our voices would have been the same about night one, because night one could have been great, but the fact that it's like they buried it on purpose, though, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
TKO versus WWE storyline that they've been trying to do online, so I can start rumors. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Okay. So at this rate, we had that Stephanie did her one-off appearance on Raw, to Liv Morgan. I was expecting. I'm ready for the Judgment Day to end because it's getting out of control with them.
It's over. It's over.
I'm ready for this to end. Like, I'm sick of them. Like, I'm really sick of them, and not because they're annoying. Because no, it's just time to break this group up. That's all I'm saying. It's time to break the group up. You see your father talking about some TKO gonna screw it up, no doubt about it at all. But
what a $1 billion companies do. They just screw everything up. They always do.
Up. But thinking that they did everything right. So
yeah, and they definitely gonna mess this up.
And that's what I'm scared about Oba Femi. That's what I'm scared of Oba Femi, for real. I'm scared.
That's what I'm worried about, man. I'm worried for Oba. I really am. If he doesn't, they get their hands on him, they're going to screw him up.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that they did with Cena. Had they could have done so much more with Cena during his career, where they could have brought him heel. They could have put him in a faction. They could have done all sorts of different things with that character and built. They could have made him white hot. But here's the thing. This is what nobody talks about, the dirty details of the business. They never want another Austin ever again.
They've already said it.
Want it. Why?
They don't want another Rock.
They don't want anyone bigger than the business. Because when somebody becomes that big and that popular, they're bigger than the brand.
Oh my God, you're so right.
And there's no one bigger than the brand.
Triple K already said that, though. He said that. I mean, he legitimately said, we are not, when you look at Austin, when you look at Rock, they grew so big that it was The Rock and WWE. Now they're like, look, the WWE is, let's be real, WWE is a clearinghouse. It's if you could talk about laundering money, the WWE is basically how TKO and Silver Lake, who owns TKO, launders money. Bottom line. Bottom line.
All facts.
No disagreeing with that one, man. No disagreeing with that.
But I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna get their hands on him only because of the simple fact that he's huge right now. But here's the thing with those superstars, it's almost kind of like they have to keep them. The way to keep them humble is to hold them from being that popular, if that makes any sense. So let me kind of pull the rug back some. They'll let him not be as dominant, let him lose a couple of matches, make him look like he's not as superhuman. That's kind of what they did with Brock. But again, you still let him win the streak. You still let him come in and powerhouse everybody. Although at times he's lost, I think they're going to do the same thing with Oba.
I'm going to disagree to an effect because that makes me think of what they're doing with Jade Cargill right now. If that's the case, because Jade Cargill is this larger than life, she could be China right now, and they're pulling back on her.
But that's only because the skill level don't match the physique. If you really pay attention to Jade, when she came in from AEW, she was a.
Did we lose him?
Powerhouse.
Yeah, we
It
lost
was kind of like I'm gonna tell you. Y'all lost me.
Yeah, his mic.
Your mic kind of went out.
Oh, okay, my bad. Let me tell you what it reminded me of. It reminded me of Goldberg. You know how you brought Goldberg in? You thought he was just going to be this phenomenon, and he got in, and it was like, dude, your in ring skill is not as powerful as
Trash. Why?
I'm just saying. So that's basically what we got from Jade. We started to see her in ring skill wasn't as good as her body and her what she brought to the table as it relates to her appearance and her demeanor. But if you pay attention to her, she do a lot of talking during her match. Like every little hit, she's bucking at the audience or she hollering and screaming at the opponent. And I think that's taken away from the sting of her being dominant as it relates to her being, watching her in ring skill. So it's the difference.
And also, I'd like to add to that thought. What did Oba just do last night?
Right.
4 words.
4 words. That's what Jade needs to be doing.
Facts.
Jade needs to be in a trash.
I'm going to kick your ass. That's it. That's all she needs to do.
Facts.
And she needs to come out there and she needs to flex it. She needs to show it. I got it. And I'm going to deliver it. She ain't Ric Flair. She ain't Shawn Michaels. She doesn't need to be going out there and going like Triple H and go on a 10-minute diatribe about how I'm going to kick your ass. You don't need to be doing any of that. You're not that.
Right.
Come in. How's my body look? And go, do a Lex Luger, right? Get in the mirror, do the narcissist, right? Bam, bam, and go, you're done. I'm here. That's it. And walk off. Oba walks in and goes, the ruler's here.
Absolutely.
Boom.
I agree.
End it.
And Derek, just to add a little bit more to it, to what makes it even more incredible is that you notice that with Jade, they always got to put her with somebody. And on Sunday, she didn't need that help at all. They actually could have ran that match without the interference at all. However, because of the simple fact that they were scared that she wasn't going to match up. So you have to bring them in order to make the match that much more interesting. But I thought she held herself down the entire night. It was the weakest match of the night. However, it showed promise and potential to her, that she's working on it. And I think they just need to get away from letting her be on the mic and just let her come in and smash everybody. Do that carry Like we talked about, have her come in looking like Carrie, full of blood, and just start ripping through everybody, and it's a wrap.
Man, I thought they missed the mark when they didn't do that. When they didn't use the stick that it was going to be from Kill Bill. When they didn't use that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I thought they missed the mark when they didn't do that. That
or the carry look when she got bloody and she was bloody and standing outside. They should have used that to the best, because we could have literally understood her in-ring presence from that point. But man, once she came back, and even her coming back at the Elimination Chamber and dogging Naomi and walking out, she didn't do a whole lot of talking. She just beat on her and walked out. That's what I was expecting out of her character or out of her development.
But the best promo that she gave was when she looked out in the audience and said, "I am that bitch," the first time. And she dropped that microphone and left. Jade, to me, is a special attraction. Don't give me too much of Jade. Give me Jade, build her aura up. Jade should be the female Oba Femi, just better looking, of course. But she should be the female Oba Femi, where you might see her every once and again, but when that music hits, and that light comes down and the storm is cometh, or whatever the hell that is, those ladies in the ring should be terrified. Because I'll never forget when Jade came and she power lifted. Nia Jax, and the world went crazy. That's special.
Yep.
Because even if you look back, and going back to Pastor's point, when you look at the match that she had with Ripley, I looked at my boy when we were watching the match and I go, look, I say this goes 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Jade ain't got the skill set that Rhea does. Because I'm thinking of Rhea Charlotte that stole WrestleMania Night 1, right? That's the Rhea that I'm thinking of. And I'm like, there's no way that Jade can hang with that. And not only did Jade hang with that, she killed it. And I'm kind of glad that they had some interference, because that, in a way, protected Jade in a loss.
Yeah, it did. Because
there was a bunch of stuff that happened. Jade, even though she lost, we can kind of explain that away. It's not a clean win. On the other side of that, where I just see Jade's progress, there are just some developmental issues, and it's always easy for the guy who's sitting back watching WrestleMania as opposed to being in the ring to say there's some progress that needs to be made, because you could see her talking to Rhea, because she's still learning how to hide. She's still learning how to speak in her ear. But there were moments when she was talking to Rhea, especially when Io came out. That was a different opponent for her. So Jade is still learning how to adapt to other people. But the thing is, Jade is adapting. That's what I love about it. So the Jade we talk about today, imagine what Jade's going to be like a year from now. If they continue to work with her, she's going to be incredible.
She's going to be amazing.
Facts. That's definitely facts on that. All right. So we had that. Of course, Trick winning the U.S. title was fantastic. Penta, and we're talking about night 2 here. We're going to talk about some of the matches in night 1. So, hey, listen, as bad as night 1 was, we still got to talk about it. I think the IC title match was actually pretty good. I will give ESPN credit with the 2 matches they were able to present on Sunday. Not so much. Well, on Saturday, Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre was actually pretty fantastic. But those 2 matches on that was pretty good. I was shocked with the Oba Brock result. I was not expecting Brock Lesnar to do that, and like I'm pretty much done. And because we have been sitting here for weeks, we said for weeks that he had one more match left, and that was SummerSlam.
Yep.
And he turned it around and said, "Nah, man, I'm done for real.
Yep,
I'm done. I don't need to I don't need to go home to Minnesota and do this at all."
I jumped up immediately. I said, wait a minute. He's standing in this ring too long. He's staying down too long. Something ain't right. Something's going on. And the moment he sat up and I saw them tears in his eyes, I said, oh, it's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How we feel about the career of Brock Lesnar after 24 years? I gotta give it to him, man.
I'm gonna tell you something, A-Train. I cried, and I don't cry. Right? It ain't a macho thing. I emote in a different way. I eat Doritos when I get depressed. I don't cry, right? But I'm sitting there legitimately watching this dude, and I couldn't help but think, and Derek mentioned Rock and Brock from SummerSlam. That was the coronation. The Rock made Brock in that moment. 20 plus years later, Brock did the exact same thing to Oba, and he went out the right way. I just wasn't prepared to lose Brock because, man, I still, when that music hits, even though I knew Oba was going to dog walk him, I still got scared because Oba can dog walk him. I can't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, bro, Brock is that man. He's the apex predator. He's the apex predator.
Derek.
Here's my kind of thought. I know there's been some kind of back and forth of whether or not this has been a work or a shoot or whatever the deal is. I really, truly do not believe that this is a work. I really think it's a shoot. I really do honestly feel that Brock is done for a multitude of reasons. The response by Heyman in the ring. Again, Heyman's a great actor. He can really, really portray something if he wants to. But night on Raw, and he cut that promo when he said the now and forever, now then forever.
Yeah.
And he said the forever is
Brockless.
the beast incarnate, the one and only Brock Lesnar. You could see it in his face that it was like, hey, this is legit. He's done. And I really, to be honest with you, I think that a lot of that had to do with Brock wanted to go out on his shield on his terms, not be spoon-fed to Gunther in 3 months at SummerSlam or whatever.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And go on some kind of retirement tour BS and how they screwed over Cena. And how they did the whole mess up with that, how they messed up AJ Styles, how they screwed all that up. Because Brock, again, being a prize fighter, Brock, again, being intelligent to the business and knowing how this works, said, hey, you know what? Here's the chessboard. I'm taking my piece off it. Good luck. Because I'm not going to put myself in that situation. So now that brings us to Oba. Now what? What are you going to do now? He's a monster. You've made him into a monster. And here's what you need to do. Are you ready? I know that I'm probably not going to get some fans with this one.
I'm waiting.
Turn him heel. And I mean nasty heel. I'm talking just destroy everybody in sight. And I'm not talking be nice about it neither. I'm talking get the color, rub your forearm in it, wipe it across your chest. I am the ruler and the master of the world, and you cannot stop me. That's what Oba needs to do.
I can't.
Do it. You know, I'm like,
I can't. No.
Hey, I'm for it. Let's go.
No.
I agree.
You can't turn in Baku dark. You can't do that. No.
Here's the thing. If you do it and you do it right, he is going to be bigger than ever. And now you can make him into that monster character that is heartless, soulless, doesn't care for anything or anyone, is going to absolutely run rampant through the entire roster of the WWE, and nobody will be able to stop him until
even Roman Reigns would be scared of him.
The one that will conquer the king, the one that will conquer the ruler. And who will that be? I don't know. But that's how the business works. You have to build this monster, unstoppable heel. You have to. Because here's why. Let's go back to 1978 to 1984. Ric Flair is the top heel in the business.
Yep.
The Four Horsemen are running rampant. How did he get away with it? It's not because he was the biggest guy. It's because he was the dirtiest player in the game. And because he had guys backing him up to do all the dirty work, he was a natural dirty heel, but he wasn't a monstrosity. But who was a monstrosity? Who was a guy that was larger than life? I'll give you one. WCW. After Ric Flair had left and took the big gold belt and went to WWF in the early 90s, who did they supplant? They tried to build up Luger. What was Jason just talking about? Luger couldn't really get over with the fans. They had to take the strap off him. They put it on who? The nastiest of the nasty, Big Van Vader. And they put it on him. And then who did they have take it off him? Ron Simmons.
Ron Simmons.
You have to build these monsters in order to get a guy or gal. It could go either way. We're talking about Jade Cargill. You can do the same thing with her. Make her into a monster heel. And that's what I really think you need to do. But do the same thing with Oba Femi. Let him have a good long run with the belt. Let him go a year and a half, whatever. Make him absolutely just smash everybody until you build up that one guy. Do you guys remember 2002, 2003-ish, somewhere in that vein? There was a series of matches between The Undertaker and Jeff Hardy. Mm-hmm. And it culminated with a ladder match on Raw. That got Jeff Hardy over more than anything in his entire career. That one little rub from The Undertaker. By him raising his hand in the ring and going, hey, I've been whipping your ass for the last 2 months here. I've been beating you up and down the aisles. I've been slapping you around all over the place, and you just keep coming back for more. You got my respect. And he still looks super strong in a loss. Undertaker still is the Undertaker. He moves on to bigger and better things, moves on to greener pastures, but so does Jeff. And this is how the business should work. There's the give and take. Just because I'm going to get smashed by Oba next week does not necessarily mean it's going to hurt me. It's going to help me because it's going to build my credentials to that next step. That's what we need to be doing here. But instead, they're probably just going to screw it up.
Can I push back one? Just if I'm going to agree with Oba being heel, put him with Paul Heyman.
No, I don't want to put him.
Yes, he needs a voice with him. You put him with Paul Heyman. It don't make sense. Matter of fact, I think Paul Heyman needs to go ahead and build. Really, honestly, if you're gonna do it, that's why I don't feel like it would work, because I would go ahead and have Gunther be with Paul and Braun Breaker be with Paul, and that way Oba can just be his dominant self on his own. If you're gonna put him with somebody, you got to be with somebody that's sinister like that. I don't know if MVP, man.
Look, if you look, I'm so thank you. What Arlington just said, get out of my mind. The only person I would ever put with Oba is someone like MVP. Yep. The challenge I had with Paul Heyman, and I love Paul Heyman. I adore Paul Heyman. Greatest actor we've seen, greatest manager we've seen. The problem with Paul Heyman, until he divests himself from everybody else, I don't want to see Oba as just another client. If you're going to have Paul Heyman representing Oba, Paul Heyman only represents Oba, just like he did with Brock Lesnar.
We don't have an MVP, though. We don't have an MVP.
But here's what I'm saying. Right now, let Oba. Maybe I'm that dude who will fall for that Jedi mind trick every single time, because I was shaking my head at first saying, no, I don't want him to go heel. Now I can't imagine. After he left the ring last night, I don't know who he faces, because you can't feed him to Gunther because they built up Gunther. You can't have him face Roman because it's too soon. You can have him face Punk, but I was scared to death Punk was going to retire last night. A-Train, you and I were talking about that.
It's Cody, and he getting Cody all of a sudden. See,
It's gotta be somebody, but the problem is who?
Drew, Royce Keys.
Oh Lord, Royce.
Russ Keys is too early. It's too early.
Early.
It's too early.
He's not there.
That's
He's not
what I'm
there.
saying. Like, what do we do?
Yeah. You
Damn.
said some pushback. What was up? What's up?
All right.
No, he like that heel mess. He like that heel mess.
So the thing is, if you're gonna make Oba the heel, and since Oba got free reign on any show, because he's a free agent on any show now, which everybody can go on any show now, because that's how it seems like that's happening right now.
Yeah. There's no brand division.
So, do y'all want to see Oba get the World Heavyweight Championship immediately, or just take every belt from every, like, in my mind, if you're gonna build him a dominant heel, he can take that belt from Trick.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. He sure can.
Quickly, because we've seen it.
He can't have
Well, I have a thought exercise for you guys.
Oh boy. Here go Derek.
Let me ask you a question. What if Oba didn't necessarily need a mouthpiece like a Heyman or an MVP or frankly anybody? But what if he was being controlled behind the scenes by a higher power? Someone that maybe has a vendetta, maybe a score to settle.
Oh, The Rock. There go your
And
boy.
someone that has a long tenured relationship with the WWE that probably wouldn't have a problem burning the whole house to the ground.
Vincent K. McMahon.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
That can work.
I
What
would pay money for that.
What if
Okay.
the way to bring Vince back into the fold was to have him as the higher power behind the destructive force known as the ruler of WWE and the destroyer of worlds, Oba Femi. And you don't show it until you got to show it. You hold your hand and you start making mentions, little segments, maybe a shadowy figure off in the distance. Maybe there's a limousine that pulls up and he gets out of the limousine and has a brief conversation with somebody. It's just a thought process because we all know that Vince wants back in the fold. What if?
Jared, go.
That you gave me that idea. So right now we in that era of these new kids coming over and taking care of the business, taking over the business. You seen Oba do it. You seen Braun Breaker do it. You seen Trick Williams do it. You seen not even just the men. The women also are Last Legend killing. You see all these new NXT come up people. My bad. That are coming in the business and shaking everything up. So it's like an invasion of NXT is coming into WWE. Also in TNA, because they're Joe Hendry is scheduled to be on Raw next week.
In concert.
Roy Keys has come from AEW. You remember all these AEW people are in our business now, and they're making a bigger name for themselves. So if you do that, Oba can be your lead, and it can be Vince McMahon versus TKO and WWE. If you put it like that, well, Oba leading the charge.
Yeah, I'm scared of that. I'm
gonna tell you why it's not gonna happen. I think, hey Jared, I think that's a great idea. What we forget about, this is a publicly traded company. And there's such a stain on Vince McMahon. You know, let's take it back just a minute. How we talked about that there were too many ads for WrestleMania, there's too many ads for Raw, too many ads for SmackDown.
Yes.
Especially when we came up in the Attitude Era, we're used to them barely. I mean, there were commercials, but they didn't have a lot of sponsors because they couldn't convince anybody to sponsor them because the gimmick, because the federation was seen as being too racist. right? So we got used to seeing straight wrestling. Now it's a publicly traded company. There is no way TKO, Silver Lake, Endeavor, whatever you're going to call it, is going to allow Vince McMahon with that kind of stain to be represented. It's just not going to happen. I think it's a great idea, but it's not going to happen.
What
They
if
don't
he
want that
used
kind of
his,
publicity.
what if he used his family to do it? Shane, man.
Well,
I mean, I can
there's a
hear
problem
it.
with that.
Shane's a good alternative.
Shane did what, Derek?
Shane's involved with AEW now.
Is that legitimate? Okay.
Can I get a forbidden door with the both of them? Like, man,
know.
at some point, but I know TKO probably will never go for it. They'll never go for that.
You know, my first thought was, you know, you could do something with potentially Paul, possibly Stephanie, have somebody behind there, but I'm just thinking it's got to be somebody vile. It's got to be somebody that just is absolutely just has an axe to grind, something. And again, it's just a thought that is worth chasing down. That could be something that they could do that would be an absolutely just amazing storyline. But the reality, because of what Jason is referring to, real life situations and unfortunate, you know, scenarios and circumstances, and the stain that Vince McMahon has on his name, being of the fact that he wasn't even involved with the induction of his own daughter into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And his, well, wife-ish, Linda McMahon,
right,
was involved with it, but not him. So let's be real. It would have to take an act of God to get Vince McMahon wrapped back up in it again, but I think it would be a completely amazing storyline.
Wow.
It'd be phenomenal. But Oba is in the same boat that Gunther's in. There's not a lot of room for. I'm scared of what comes next for Oba, right? Just like if you're a Gunther fan, you wonder what comes next for him, because you can only feed him so many people before that whole he's, you know, the modern day legend killer thing that only goes so far.
But
I don't really want to see him go heel.
Being open, I think with the faction being open, it gives more opportunity for bigger guys to have that opportunity. Wait, what? Let's talk about the Street Profits coming back yesterday. How phenomenal was that?
Hey, I forgot. That was the best moment of night one, was Bianca announcing her
yeah. Congratulations.
Did you see the abs? Did you see the abs on her pregnancy belly?
Well, I was like, my wife talking about so yeah, I'm finna get my stomach like that, even though I'm not pregnant. I'm like, girl, go to sleep. You sleep. You sleeping. It ain't been that way since you was 15. Yeah, it ain't definitely ain't gonna happen at 50. So cut it out.
But she lifted her belly, and I just saw a straight view. I was like, what? Why are you showing your belly? And then she turned to the side. I was like, oh, she's pregnant. Because all I saw were abs.
Yeah.
Right?
My wife knew immediately. She said, oh, she pregnant. I'm like, yo, how do you see that? She's like,
you can see it. You can see it in her face.
You
see it in her face. She's glowing. You can just see it when you know. Again, my wife has had a couple of pregnancies, and when you've looked at a woman who's pregnant, you know, and you've seen enough of them, you could see it in their face. They're glowing. They just have a different vibe about them.
Oh, and she didn't skip down to the ring, and plus she didn't have her ponytail either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But she looked good as hell.
She walked down to the ring. She didn't skip or nothing. She didn't have.
She gave me kind of Ric Flair vibes with that whole robe thing she had going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, the Street Profits coming back into the fold.
It's gonna be a strong baby.
Doc, we have been talking about this for some time.
That baby's in the womb doing this, Pastor.
Like, you know, they refer to themselves as team pull. We team pull, not non-pull out. Is what they call themselves.
Yeah, no pull out.
We call ourselves team no pull out. But they was like, they were there with Seth. Remember, we were saying that at some point when Seth had broke off with the Vision, could we see the Street Profits rolling with Seth?
That'd be awesome.
And we said this
We said that on this
show.
Absolutely.
I'm
Right
trying
here.
to watch the show.
I'm telling you.
I'm convinced you cannot tell me any differently that they watch, because we've been saying this. We said that once Seth broke off with the Vision, the next group that would have to come in with this fold would have to be the Street Profits. And why? And I understand why they've been away for so long. Montez's been getting in that work. So that's why.
Man, look, I say this respectfully to all of us men because we're all good-looking men. We ain't Montez. And I'm going to say this. That baby, Montez and Bianca coming together, forming that super baby.
Okay.
Come on, that ain't fair. That
Hey,
ain't right.
we're gonna see Naomi versus Bianca's baby.
At age 4. At age 4.
Lord willing, we get 20 years and they in the ring together. Oh, Jesus.
Man.
Flying over rings.
but again, seeing the Street Profits with Seth, I was like, okay, maybe we got something here with that coincides, because I'm feeling if they're not going to do it at SummerSlam, they're probably going to do it at Backlash. I would rather it be a 6-man tag at Backlash, where that way it sets up Braun versus Seth at SummerSlam, because that's a bigger match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so in this favor that Gunther has, I thought it was going to be for Brock, but again, Brock broke that promise before he even got a chance to ask Gunther for this favor.
Thank you, Brock.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Either way it go, I seen Brock winning that match anyway.
We already said that he's not going to lose to Gunther. That's just
not with the Super Bowl.
A disgrace. Yeah, well, it was a disgrace letting him have that title and getting rid of Goldberg. I can see, but John Cena, and then for John to smile while he's tapping out just didn't really add a good value to him giving up, or somebody never give up, that kind of thing. So, and AJ Styles, it just was a waste to me.
A part of that was like, it was with that match, when you talk about Cena Gunther, I look at that as it was finally Cena giving up.
Yes.
After he told everybody, I'll never give up, that he just finally gave it up.
To smile while doing it?
Yeah, because that
look, man.
for him that I am completely done. I'm not going back into the ring to wrestle no more. That's it for me.
I've given it everything I have. He talked about hustle, loyalty, and respect, but there's a time you can only hustle so far. There's only
loyal so far.
Right, you can only be loyal so far. And he gave respect to Gunther when he smiled. He's like, I have nothing left. That was a poetic moment. And I know people dogged it. It was poetic.
Yeah, it wasn't for me.
It's like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
No, I'm good.
We didn't mention about, okay, now, as much as I want to sit here and say Paige coming back was actually good, I did not like her return.
Oh, my God.
I never liked Paige.
Trash.
Yeah, she's trash.
Lyra and Bailey was supposed to win. I don't care what nobody say. They were supposed to win.
Lyra's weak, though. I'm tired. Lyra's character is so boring to me, man.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. She's boring.
Ooh.
She's great. She's great, but they didn't give her like nothing interesting. That's the only problem.
I guess.
One thing I will say, I don't have to hear Pat McAfee's voice ever again on WWE programming. Thank you. Thank you, Cody Rhodes. And a lot of that, I think, because remember, if we go back and we went into this, we went into that story about how Pat had turned down Ari twice. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to be involved with this. And if this was his way saying, yo, I want to be out of here, make sure that Cody wins this. Because we sat there and said TKO has a lot of control over what's going on in the creative stories.
All the control.
So if that was being said, Pat was like, I just want to be out. Get me out of however you can. I don't want to be a part of it. Put a stipulation in it, whatever. I don't want to be a part of this. If that's what it took, I applaud it. And plus, Randy was hurt.
that match wasn't really good in my
It
personal.
wasn't. It wasn't.
It was hot garbage. What'd you call it? Trash? You called it trash before?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's because it's like what they was doing. Randy was holding his back for most of the match, like 15 minutes of the match, and it's only 15 minutes in the match. And but the work that they used it as a main event, as a continuation story. I didn't like that, because WrestleMania is supposed to be the end, the end of all of it. That's
I
what
get it. Yeah.
But the matter of fact that you used your biggest show, your main event, in fact, not even your regular match, a main event, as a continuation story to what, Backlash, whatever Triple H, how you say it, at Backlash. I don't know.
You guys seen that, right? Where he's, he's all stoved up and everything.
Backlash.
And he's just ridiculously over the top, where everybody's going backlash, and he's just losing his mind.
Dude, are you
One thing I want to add to this Randy and Cody thing? Something seems off to me. And the thing that seems off is obviously Cody's behavior on Raw. I really truly think that we are seeing the worm turn with Cody Rhodes, and I think we're going to see a heavily psychotic version of Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see the Homelander version of Cody Rhodes.
Bring it. It's time.
And I think that it's time. I think that you can make him into a monster heel, and you could run him all the way until WrestleMania next year, even if you wanted to. And to really, then you could build the Oba Femi match if you wanted to. And you could go that way. And you could have the psychotic Homelander versus Oba Femi WrestleMania Night 2 of the extravaganza next year. Now, what you could do is, here's how I would do it. If I was booking and I was building the matches, what I would do is I would have Cody lose the championship to somebody, whether that's Punk, whether that's somebody else, and have him snap. Go off the deep end, completely go nuts. And then when that happens, he gets the belt back. It may take a month or two, but it gives him some time to recover, recuperate, recharge his batteries, then go on another run. Get another run with the belt, go psychotic Homelander style to WrestleMania next year, and then you could build your great big match with Oba Femi.
I'm down for that.
You ready for this, Arlington? Here's my view on Cody. The fans, the WWE universe does not deserve Cody Rhodes. And if we are going to have some fun with Cody turning heel, Cody gave you the best. He kissed the babies. He passed out the weight belts. He told you I love you, even when you curse in his face, a la John Cena. The difference between him and John Cena, Cody has that heart that says, there's a reason why they call me the American Nightmare. And I tried to be your dream, and you turned me back into a nightmare. Have him drop the belt. Whoever wins the belt, they're going to get cheered. And you have Cody look out in the audience and look around. Do you remember? I'll never forget when John Cena had that 60-man, that Iron Man match against Shawn Michaels. And he gave the best that he had. And he still got booed. And here's John Cena, arms propped up on the turnbuckles, and he's looking at the crowd like, what else do I have to do? What else do I have to do to show you that I'm the guy you should be cheering? That's Cody. He turns, and that makes, using Derek's logic, that makes Cody an even bigger babyface than what he is now, because people will ultimately start cheering for him once again. Boom.
I mean, the character that he has now, like we low-key start seeing it during Mania. You start seeing some heel vibes that he was giving off during that match with Randy.
The blood, when he wiped Randy's blood, right? Come on, man.
Start doing little things. It's almost like you bringing back your legacy character of sorts. You said the Homelander you want to throw in with it too. If you bring a mixture of that, but they're going to, and I have a feeling TKO is like, no, you are QB1. You're a good guy. We can't have you as a heel. It's not going to help. I'm like, it's going to make him even greater than where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
And with this legacy thing, like I would even go as far as to having Stephanie and Triple H as an authority figure for Cody Rhodes. They coming down. This is our champion. This is our guy. I'm corporate. I'm no longer y'all favorite. I'm not y'all favorite anymore. I belong to them. I don't belong to you anymore. As that, I would go that route if that's the way that they want to take it, because they keep tooting Cody Rhodes every single week. And fans are starting to turn on that. So it's almost like you need to go corporate. I wouldn't go against that. And see what that looks like. But yeah, but as you can see, we have different suggestions for what would a heel turn look like. A corporate Cody, and then you got a psychotic Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Either one could work in this realm as we get into the future, because we're trying to figure out what is next for these guys. I think we have what we want. I think we have a match. It's like what Cody and CM Punk. Like Punk has already at this point where a title opportunity is now falling from the sky, as he put out on Raw last night. It's there. And I know people would want to see that. So it's not over for him. Granted that CM Punk is on Raw and you going against SmackDown's champion.
Well, Jacob did the same thing.
Bro, can we talk about that?
I was surprised by that.
I was surprised by Are you talking about Jacob, or are you surprised by the reformation of the bloodline, or both?
Jacob.
Yeah.
We saw that kind of coming, especially with how everything was being built up leading to WrestleMania, especially when Jay was there barking orders at Roman to go and get CM Punk. You could kind of see that a formation was starting to come back together again. And then when Jacob came out, because that was a surprising ending to Raw to me. It was no fighting or nothing. It was, I want what you want. And remember, this is in Jacob's backyard. And where most of the family is at, Tampa. So it's almost like it's a family affair. And I think the stipulation is if Jacob loses, he has to acknowledge Roman Reigns.
He has to join the bloodline.
I want that to happen so bad.
You do or you don't?
I do. I love Jacob Fatu. I love the bloodline. I want to see the bloodline run it back. What I wasn't prepared for, the crowd response to them throwing the ones was kind of muted. I thought people would be going crazy. They weren't necessarily going crazy. Maybe to your point, because everyone had seen this coming. But Roman, the Usos, and Jacob, because there's no way Jacob's not beating Roman. It's going to be a good match, but Jacob ain't beating Roman. But Jacob in the bloodline, and then you got Jey Uso, who's already got his ego. You got Big Jim, who's just chill, right? Big Jim's like, I'm just here. But you got Jey Uso's ego, you got Jacob's ego, and of course you got the Tribal Chief's ego. That makes for some entertaining TV.
And Sami Zayn is about to turn heel, so
yeah, that's a given.
Man, can we future endeavor Sami Zayn? I'm tired of this dude, man. I'm tired of Sami Zayn. All right, future endeavor his ass, man. He's boring. Trick Williams destroyed his career. Not only was not only did he say his breast around like, what did he say, 10 pounds of bounce that ass. He put out a diss track on him. He put out a diss track on Sami Zayn to the point where Sami Zayn's walking down the ramp kind of like, damn, he's ended my whole career. Sami Zayn's done. Done. Can't stand that dude.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. But I think at this rate right now with Trick is on top of the world. And they're saying, and we were having a conversation about King of the Ring and stuff like that. Like, what would happen if Oba or Trick? I don't think Trick is going to be involved in the King of the Ring now that he's a champion. There's no point in putting him in it. But if Oba is going to be a part of that, it's got to be for a title opportunity. You know what I mean?
So whoever wins can get a match at SummerSlam. A title
The
match.
question is going to become: are you ready to put Oba? It's man, and that's the thing I'm scared of. I'm scared of Oba's future. I really am scared of Oba's future.
I mean, if you do Oba versus Roman at SummerSlam, that's
man,
It's too early. It's too early.
It's something that we want, but that's too
early.
soon.
It's too soon.
That's a big money match, but you got to build him up. It's just like Stone Cold versus Brock, or the attempted Stone Cold versus Brock, where Stone Cold was like, "We're not going to do that match on Monday night." That's something you build up over the course of a year. Oba is over, but you got to build Oba, build him. So when he goes up against the Tribal Chief, it's big.
Okay.
What you think?
All right, y'all. Let's go. It's so much that we can discuss. I appreciate everybody jumping in and hopping
Thank you, my
on.
brother.
Yeah, Jay, Derek, Jason, thank y'all so much, man. And I know we forgetting some stuff, but guess what? I think we touched on a lot, and a lot of question marks is now forthcoming as we get into this upcoming weeks towards Backlash in Tampa, and then as we get towards SummerSlam in August and Money in the Bank in September. Woo, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot, and we can't wait. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens in the future. And thank y'all so much. Yes, Roman Oba is a Mania event, and they talking about that in Riyadh. So,
no.
Yeah.
No.
If you can't do it there, you got to do it at SummerSlam. So it's like,
no.
What happened to WrestleMania in like London or something? Why?
I just want to be there. I'm not going to.
I want to wake up. I don't want to wake up in a match be over.
All right. Yeah,
all right, I appreciate y'all.
All right. Y'all be easy.
See you guys.
Thank y'all so much.
All right,
Jared,
take care.
Thank you, Jason. Jared, appreciate y'all so much for coming on and jumping on and talking some WrestleMania. All right. Y'all all have a great rest of your day, okay?
You too. Thanks for having us on, brother.
All right. Thank y'all so much for tuning into this edition of the A-Train Show. The doc had to take off for a moment, so I'm going to go ahead and end the show here. Thank y'all for chiming in, and we're going to have some more fun about this on Thursday. May have some special guests and ahead, so y'all make sure y'all just tune in for that. It was chaotic, man, but we had a lot of fun, okay? See you next time for another edition of the A-Train Show. Catch us on X, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So long for now.
This is the X Fan Show. For the fans, by the fans.